course, the Jett on Wardell. He's been prolific with that op, but speaking of TenZ, he already has himself multiple aces on the day, multiple multi-frags on the day. But that was with Jett and that op combo. Instead, now he's going to opt with the raise here on Bind.
Pretty relaxed start so far.
Not a four-man stack B.
Yeah. I think we've seen a lot more of these, especially when Immortals played. They always left Colder to kind of just chill out on that A site, set up 4 players towards the B side. So can be definitely expected. TenZ on the Raze character. Wardell sits in the corner though of Hookah. Ghost at the ready if a player walks into his crosshair, and very quiet but slow and steady start, I have to say, for both of these teams. No shots really ring out in either direction. No damage done thus far. But the stack towards the B site. 3 players here. 2 contested heavily towards Hookah. And I don't know if Cloud9 are ready for what they're about to walk into.
Oh, still around the corner. And Wardell waiting up, but that smoke at the perfect time too. hazed capitalizing, but you still have Wardell that didn't get hit by the near sights. And he, again, sandwiched up with hazed. Collects 3 frags and Hookah combined. And with 30 seconds left, this spike stuck in Hookah. These players are desperate to try to find it. Still yet another smoke to try to capitalize. More info being found by TSM. And now look at this from hazed. This headshot angle on top of site with only 15 seconds left. Vice and Shinobi, they just have to hold W and hopefully they got on site somehow. But they're losing out on so much time. They might as well save, not allow the pistol round frags to go in for hazed, Cutler, and Drone. But for now, it's going to be a W for TSM.
Yeah, they do save those ghosts at the least. So this second round, it's not gonna be hard. Or I don't even know what I'm saying. It's not gonna be easy for them to say this, but these ghosts, right, alleviates just a tiny bit of pressure. Most of the time, this second round is filled with the classics, and occasionally you've got a shorter. If there's a spike plane, you might see ghosts here or there, but given the current state, I really don't think we're going to end up seeing too much from it, right? 2 ghosts, there's an opportunity to maybe take something out of the hands of perhaps hazed, the 2 ghosts in the hands of Cutler and Wardell, if they can maybe find a way to kind of exploit the setup that they've got so far, not opting to take all Spectres, holding on to a couple of SMGs, holding on to a couple of ghosts. This could be a little bit of a spicy round, and you see TenZ has picked up the Sheriff, so they're going to try and make something happen with the pistols that they've got.
Surely so, at least for now, but Sully, what do I always say about these second rounds? They want to hold on. They want to hold on to the guns. That's all they want. A singular player going down in that first round. And now hazed, again, picking up the Phantom, still upgrading. A little bit rough of an option, but that also leaves up sort of a hero rifle type situation. He's also might be in a position a little bit later for a teammate to try to pick that up. But for now, the one goal for this team is just to try to hold on to these guns and carry them into the next round. But for now, TenZ actually capitalizing on the Sheriff, taking down Subroza, but it's still a very wide split. 2 players waiting up in bathroom. They cleared the area, and here comes the rotation from Cloud9.
Shock Dart goes out from Drone. That's going to try and delay them, but a spike plan here. This is absolutely massive. A 4 versus 4, and with the pistols that they've got, if they know how to play them, if they can play these crossfires, it could definitely be deadly here. Vice pressed up so close towards the CT side. It's Wardell and Cutler who as well have the ghost, and Vice has taken the life of Wardell. 1 more to find though as he drops the smoke. He's not ready for the repeat though from Cutler, and it puts it now in a 2 versus 3. Now it's just the one. Shinobi up close, at least has the first here. 2 more players to find though, and that gut is not wallbangable through the box, and it didn't even matter because they were already staking the spike, but Drone puts him down. 2-0 start for TSM, but Cloud9 are making things a little bit spicy early on.
No, that's a highly efficient second round, already restricting TSM down to only 2 of the guns that they ended up investing into. And now Cloud9, they find themselves with a really, really good platform to reset TSM extremely early on in this game. Shut down what is their momentum, shut down that confidence, because we already know what type of fraggers this team can be with just a smidgen of ego. So at least looking on towards this round, we have the one and only Op Academy Professor Wardell stepping up with the Op already. And he's in quite the pivotal spot for it. He's over towards long, might get into an interaction soon with Mitch, but look at this! Right on through Relyks. isn't spotted out by that owl drone. But even then, drone on the drone, he still stays alive outside bathroom. But this call might be a little bit brutal because, again, Cloud9, they're not exactly a team to fully commit to early takes. They're still playing up on time. They're still playing up with picks. Again, their defaults have been incredibly successful thus far today. But off that one pick in bathroom, it does seem with a minute lit, with a minute in, it does seem like they want to push up on A.
Smokes go down now. Wardell's gonna get smoked out from heaven. Relyks activates the run it back the entry. Doesn't clear his close right corner, but at least he has that information. Drone still stuck there. Will now be flushed out here by Mitch. Wardell drops from the heavens, and he's trying to keep things in check here. The spike yet to touch base. Relyks up close. Surely he gets the kill. He does. Wardell goes down, up out of his hands, and Cutler a 1 versus 3 to try and pull it off. The sage wall in his face. I don't really think he stands a chance here, but he could find a kill here. That wall is gonna take such a long time to decay, and Cutler, all sides of this site are covered. Relyks back in the cubby outside of showers, and everybody else is watching a different angle. They're ready for what Cutler has in store for them, and Cutler might just have to save here. The first round, it seems, already for Cloud9 as finding the wall does go down, but still, Cutler in this 1 versus 3, he will be flushed out here, I'd imagine, by the 2 players. Starting to aggress, he does get tagged out, but eventually takes down Mitch, as Relyks will get the immediate trade back. 2-1, and Cloud9 find their first.
I was thinking that they were going to maintain that default, but 40 seconds is long enough. Cloud9, they already cleared out most of B. They cleared out long, cleared out hookah. Realized that really the teams were just corralled on site. And considering that they had actually gotten an early pick on A, making their way over, it's sort of a forehead move. Still moving forward, it's going to be a pissed around for the boys in TSM. And again, it might just be a Chico. Nah, their investments, it's way too little. 1 player on 3.4K and the rest of the squad on 2K and below. They really can't do much with this one, but the one X factor might as well just be Wardell on the ulti.
Yeah, you can really use this ultimate as a gun sometimes. It's super useful, especially in rounds like this. When you don't have guns, you've got a couple of sheriffs around, handed in the rest of your team. So Wardell, we'll see how much he can do. Wardell up close. It's a right-click adventure in the first engagement, but he's missed all of them. The right-click doesn't connect, and he doesn't have any more knives left in his pocket. TenZ, he definitely spotted Subroza trying to back away, and somehow Subroza's still alive. TenZ has worked his way out onto the site, though, and I think the spike will go down here as 3 players still remain. Subroza, he hasn't been necessarily blocked off yet by a wall, but he is slightly getting tagged down here by the blast packs, and if the spike does go down, a 4 versus 3, they just have pistols. Cloud9 should have this second. Already quick kill from TenZ, though. Shinobi, hazed, takes him down. Brim on Brim violence. TenZ finds the final third. Pretty simple stuff already. 2-2, Cloud9. I think it was very much expected here for them to take that round. No real issues here, but here comes out the operator once more. Wardell has opted to go for no armor, or the light armor, apologies, and sit on that operator. Mitch on the opposing team has it. This is what I spoke of. Mitch, TenZ, and Wardell. This kind of trifecta of operating goodness. We'll see if they continue it, though, right? TenZ is yet to pull it out. I know he likes to play sometimes with a Vandal. He's a Raze, so maybe not being on that Jett character will affect how he decides to, or what guns he decides to use. So heading into this round, though, the rifles are out. Ops in hands of 2 different players on 2 different teams. We'll see if TSM can pull the lead back.
Surely, so at least this setup is a little aggressive, don't you think? Wardell all the way up, and Hookah has to run away. That showstopper not going to connect. Wardell dashing away at the perfect time. He still readjusts himself back left side, but he gets traded out immediately by Mitch. Subroza, who is here helping out on site, has instead readjusted back to long, and even then, an orbital strike to delay the plant to allow these last 3 players to rotate in. They're all corralled into CT, however, this will be a free plant for this team.
Oh, Mitch. I don't don't think that wall necessarily covers it all here. He might actually have an opportunity to shoot. It's a perfect angle as well. They're going to go straight through the breach unless they decide to wrap towards elbow. But that smoke, the sky smoke comes in. hazed has got one. Mitch on top of the tin can has got 3 kills in this round. Classic pulled out as well. It's Drone who lurks around though. A 1-on-3, and he's got at least 1 to show for. 2 more to find though, and they're both tucked in 2 different positions, ready to go for the swing here. Drone's got to go hunting here. He doesn't really have the time anymore. The spike, it's ticked away in shinobi as soon as it's been tapped, swings out wide and takes down Drone, and Cloud9 will take the lead for the first time.
And again, that double peak crossfire setup, it's pretty common, done on the fly, but you have to give at least a little bit of that edge to Cloud9. I mean, they already know their tactical FPS prowess does kind of allow them to be on the forefront, mechanically speaking. Really, both of these teams capitalizing on what has been at least decent post-plant scenarios, making these all too entertaining. But at least for now, this is like the flying V from the Mighty Ducks. You had 1 over towards mid, and now they capitalized 2 in that same position on A short. 1 right outside bathrooms, another 1 outside mid B, and another 1 long. So they're in sort of that V formation. Not exactly looking to capitalize together in that same V formation, really just trying to find more information, but I'll still think that they're at least ducking a couple of bullets.
Bob and Weave's the name of the game, I guess. TenZ. We've seen crazy Raze movement. I want to know if TenZ got the same. The movement that you mentioned of on his Jett. I wonder if they translate here to the Raze. They've walked up though to this A site, essentially scot-free. Nobody's here contesting, and a double player towards Showers. Relyks, in they go. 1 goes down, but do they expect the second? hazed. Position is crucial. 1 kill though, and TenZ has gone hunting. He heard the TP as well here, so it's just a matter of time before he starts to clean things up. His aim is crisp as he finds another, leaving it now just to 2. Wardell's got a shorty at least, so maybe he can go for some kind of cheeky play. But with 4 players alive against, I think it's a sheriff and a shorty, the odds don't seem favorable here for TSM, to say the least.
Surely not. Really just trying to find a frag or 2 to really make this worth it. Cutler has to overstretch. Again, I bet that holding on to that Sheriff into the next round might not be the most opportune thing in the world. Same thing with Wardell off that shorty, and there you go. Classic with the Jett, and he upgrades to the also favorite operator, but he gets traded out by Vice. Cutler actually goes down to the spike. Same thing with Vice. So in the end, Cloud9 are left with 2 players. Again, a little bit of economic damage from TSM into that round. That's going to be pivotal, at least moving forward. But the round win would have been more optimal for TSM, to say the very least. They do have a bye in this next round. Sully, is there any linear adjustments that need to be made? I know that's a weird question to even be asking, but I think Cloud9, with these early picks, with these early defaults, I feel as if TSM can be just a little bit less antsy, correct?
I kind of agree with that, right? That A site, it was a pretty big gamble, and it's understandable. You really just have pistols. You got to do something cheeky, double stack towards bathrooms. You didn't know they were walking behind you. Not too big of a deal. Here's where things start to heat up. Subroza's got his ultimate, same with Relyks. We might see it run it back, but they end up running at each other. Relyks has called upon his, though. This is a slight adjustment that needs to be made. Fast rotation. Allow Subroza to start fragging out. Let him try and do some individual plays here on the B site. It makes it a lot easier. The wall, though, or the run it back apologies, is what will send them back here, as they will work their way onto this B site. The ultimate called in. Relyks has been tagged, but Subroza will finish him off. They've still got a chance here. Mitch tagged down to 47. And it's a stronghold here from TSM. Adjustments were made, you fragged out hard, you relied on your individual skill, and now it's just shinobi. A spike on his back, a vandal in his hand, and a dream in his head.
And he's beelining it to A. There was a player on short, that was Cutler. Honestly, an X Factor on site. Waited for his opportunity, waited for the actual take, wide swung, got himself 2. Gave his team the advantage going forward, but like you mentioned, the spike in his back is now on the floor. Shinobi just looking to hold things back. He's certainly not going to anticipate a double coming in from short. And it's not in very much an opportune position for Shinobi either. It's really out in the open, so he could still take on some of these 1v1s. Makes it a little bit less predictable of where he could be, but shinobi has to be a king of ring around the Rosie. There goes the dart. He has to wide swing. Same thing with the molly. It's almost as if TSM had the hard read on his position. And just like that, TSM, they're going to take it third.
That B site so clustered. You got the Cypher tripwire from Cutler. They played him on A at the very start of this game. In the piss around, that's where he resided. Hoping that he continues to stick towards B, but no, they'll send him back towards A. They're hoping that maybe that round is gonna wiggle a worm into their minds, a worm of doubt, if you will. If they want to continue to go B. TenZ and Mitch top the scoreboard, the two players that obviously everybody wants to watch. TenZ and Wardell battling it out. Unfortunately, it's not the operator duel we were hoping for. Not the Jett v Jett duel, but it's enough for me at least. In this round, though, they do still have enough money to buy up here, and Drone with a quick shock dart at the ready, and three players, they're about to walk into it. Hazed is swung out further from the smoke. He tries to hold the spray, and he gets off of it, and they will take upon that moment, take him down as Hazed falls in the shower with a swing though, and Drone, a triple from Drone, as he wide swings out from showers. The smoke obscures its position. They tap the ult orb, and they just weren't ready for it. The last two remaining players, they will try and work something out here, as TenZ and Vice have to find some kind of opening. Already the flame wall that goes up. Drone's got to tag off that Allo drone, and all he's got to do is kind of sit and wait. He has a player in the teleporter, and Drone has found number 4. Drone is looking for the ace at this point, as Vice is the last man standing.
Oh, there goes that recon too. Was that through the smoke, or am I crazy?
I think
Or did he wide swing off of it? I really don't know what that shot was, but again, Drone was trying to find his ace. I didn't see it from Wardell's angle, but it is what it is. The round is over. Cloud9 back on such scattered economy. Some players $3,000, a couple able to full buy up. They have to equalize some way, somehow. TenZ, again, I mean, we saw this theme with him, this trend with him, game after game, where he always seems to be the one heading up on the hero rifle. He always seems to be the one overextending on economy, and it's mainly because this team, right here, it seems like they trust him in terms of individual fragging. It seems like they trust him to take up on that rifle role, but even then, that affects his economy in the long run, affecting his teammates. Vice ends up having to pass over a Phantom over to TenZ. Now he gets affected, and he has to stick on to the Spectre. And not only that, but his entire team just down in terms of economy. In this round, however, TSM still looking good with the wallet. Wardell still with the op.
Mitch just brought back Shinobi Orbital Strike. They know where that revive was, and it's a shot in the dark, I guess, if you will, as to where the rest of them reside. All 5, or 4 at least, coming up from shore. You do still have 1 in Relyks trying to work out towards showers, but slow but steady. I think they're thinking better of it. A site has heavy presence shown so far. TenZ is clearing out the back, checking for any flanks as they double back towards the B site. Again, Subroza, his utility usage, his curveball usage, his flame wall usage, his hot hands usage has been supreme thus far, and he's going to rely on it once more as the rest of Cloud9 start to head to the B site, where Subroza sits in the tin can as he waits.
I like that. A tin can sitting up on site, and here comes the actual approach again. 20 seconds left. They have no option to actually rotate back. Relyks, he gets distracted, getting hitting up by so much util, and you still have Wardell in the back trying to capitalize off the knives, but instead he has to switch over towards the operator. Vice trying to help out with the Spectre. Still another player over towards long. That's shinobi. They have to get the spike down. 4 seconds. Can't get it. Cutler, stay alive, my friend. Oh, still ends up taking down shinobi. But good lord, man. A close take. But Cloud9, once again, their defaults not exactly equalizing into frags. So they end up executing way too late into the round. I'm seeing this as more of a trend, but again, it could just be TSM with a hard adjustment.
Yeah, TSM so far, I mean, on the B site, they aren't really pushing. They've got faith in the fact that Subroza can sit in that tin can, just wait, and he can frag out. That's exactly what happens. Him and Cutler, a deadly duo towards B, and it's really hard to work with these picks when you've really just got Wardell on that Jett, just playing cheeky. And we know how fast Wardell is on the scope. I press forward, and he's hardly missed any shots this game. So It's really hard to work these picks as Cloud9, and in that round, it was just really unfortunate, right? The time wasn't on your side. You didn't really have much to go off of, and in the end, that late execution is what nipped them in the bud. It was very predictable, to say the least. Drone will send in the Aldrone towards Showers as the first one walks on through the tripwire, and it's an easy kill. The rest, though, will flood themselves out. Drone still yet to take a lick of damage, dances back for a second. Cutler and Drone lock it down towards Showers, leaving just the two of TenZ and mitch.
They're both stuck on short. They're just trying to make the most out of the deco, the Shiko. Again, this is just classic. I mean, the team's holding up at around $2,000. That's a hard half buy. Their economy is already not worth it, so I think at this point, just looking for any scattered frags that they can get. Drone. There you go. He was looking for it just a couple of rounds ago, and he finally executes on it. The ace for the Sova, man. And now at this point, Cloud9, they have quite the battle ahead of them, as Cloud9 and TSM, both on full buys.
TenZ has been eerily quiet this game, from an event high in the last game against Envy, where he dropped 34 kills at a 229 ADR. He's been quiet so far, and honestly, I can't really blame him. It's been very difficult to work this TSM side. Aggressive. Wardell again out towards middle. Not phased by the Boomba. Is willing to take the risk that the Boomba will charge him, and finds the first on a TenZ. hazed takes down Vice as well. Yes. And it's just these individual plays coming out from TSM, finding opening duels and winning them like it's nothing. Again, though, it's Drone once more, who's got to lock down the Showers. Alone he stands, but that gives him some information. A jumping shot as Mitch and Shinobi finds you, but hazed has mopped them all up. The triple, and it's 7-4 as TSM look to close things out in the first half.
Oh, bro, just that setup from TSM period in that round, just hard aggression on A. Yes, they still had the lurk in the background. They still had the anchor to try to take on what would be a rush, but that was a hard read from TSM. They had one running over towards mid. They had the flash going for them too. Wide peeks out right, perfect. Over towards bathroom, it was almost the same thing. Early on, the Brim, hazed, putting up a smoke deep into bathrooms. But of course, there were a couple of flashes laying back, but they had the plan for it. I'm quite enjoying this play from TSM thus far, and just that strat alone, I've been talking about this, but it's some semi-cheese strats that a lot of these teams have been starting to curate for specific opportunities, and in that situation, it worked out perfectly for TSM. At least for now, Cloud9 might be walking right into the trap of Cutler and Subroza, and that exactly happens. Vice and TenZ last two remaining. TenZ on the judge. Vice capitalizes on the frag with the Phantom, so one more over towards Long. That's Cutler with a headshot onto Vice. TenZ turns back, has the rifle, but Wardell picks up the op, and that's going to be yet another round for TSM as the half ends.
8-4 they lead, doubling the score here of their opponents, Cloud9. It's rough, it's bumpy, and the ride is no longer going to be easy in this second half. Now they're on the defensive side, though. This is where things could start to turn up, though. TSM, thus far, have been clinical in their aim tools. I guess you could attribute that to the defensive side. A lot of cheeky angles, a lot of cheese angles, like you said, you could play. And, well, we'll see if that holds true here for the side of Cloud9. The pissed around lives, tournament lives, here at stake here for them. And we'll see if this pistol shows anything, any slim chance they can maybe pull this one back. 4 rounds separate these two teams, and the pistol round is crucial for Cloud9.
We've seen so many comebacks today for Cloud9 that I actually don't doubt it. Whether they're on stream or off stream, Cloud9, they've come back from, I think, 5-round differences at the end of games to actually, you know, win them back up in overtime. I don't think really any team is comfortable playing up on an overtime, but here we are. Cloud9, they do have advantage of A. On the front lines, it's going to be Subroza getting all the info in the world. Has to clear out U-Haul, has to clear out the smokes, and otherwise it's going to be a full 5v5 retake for Cloud9.
There is damage, though. Relyks, curveball on out, he goes for the swing. Wardell blind, but he still gets 2. Wardell is mustered 2 out of thin air. Shinobi has at least found 1, but a jumping Subroza. Wardell and Subroza again find the kills that need to be found. The blind was perfect, but I don't even know how Wardell lines those up. Luck is what I think is what caused that one. But hey, all great players got a little bit of luck. Am I right, Gus?
Well, I think at this point, you kind of look at that play from a mechanical standpoint. You have already your crosshair at a headshot angle. You already spot one coming in, and then all of a sudden you get pop flashed. Well, at that point, just keep spraying in the same crosshair direction. You already have it at a headshot angle. Just keep spraying. You never know when a player will actually jump right into it, and you already know that a flash was coming out from Relyks anyways, so who knows that you'll get the frag. Wardell, an absolute nutter, snags himself too, and we have a timeout on server. It's actually done already. Might have just been a real quick tactical. Real quick here, Sully. I don't think we've seen too many tactical timeouts in Valorant. I mean, we see it all the time in CS. I mean, most servers, they have tactical timeouts and those timers integrated into the servers. But in terms of Valorant, we really only see timeouts in terms of just technicals.
I mean, if it is going to be an attack pause, it's very much needed here from Cloud9. Down by 5 rounds. Pissed around, like I said, was kind of the make it or break it points, but they haven't broken entirely just yet. No players towards B. They're banking on the fact that that's not going to be the site that they hit. But unfortunately, TSM will be hitting that B site. Comfortable stuff so far. I think this was a round that was already written down in the books, predicted by everybody that it would be TSM's round one. Maybe not with this much ease and steeze, but this B site being completely empty, you imagine that TSM, they're just going to clear things out. You imagine that they're going to walk away with this round no matter what happens here.
Nah, absolutely. This is a hard retake to make, to say the least, especially seeing what was earlier TSM setup in terms of post plans. This is real scary at this point. I could probably see it now. Assistant coach Myth sitting back in his chair, thinking that he really doesn't need to do anything at the moment. He's just letting the boys be the boys. Hold W, at least in that round. But Sully, this next one is going to be a lot more pivotal. The buys will actually start to come in, and not only that, but the defenders in Cloud9, they're not going for this retake by any means. Not only are they holding on to the upgraded pistols, that's not really the pivotal part. The most pivotal part is that they're not giving TSM any of these eco frags. They're high, I mean, they're expensive for them. You get yourself like, what, 300 to 600 credits just for getting a kill on an SMG, and not only that, but you also get a pick onto Subroza. He's forced to reinvest into the next round. The rest of TSM still stuck at around $3,000. Going to be able to transfer that into the next one. So this round, they have the rifles, the upgraded rifles at least, downgraded at this point because of Hazed and Cutler. The SMG from the last, they want to make the most out of this one. TSM wins this one. Not only do they reset Cloud9, but they're able to upgrade their guns and find themselves in match point, because we already know that Cloud9 can't easily win an eco.
That's what we say, and then they did it against enemy just a couple of or an hour ago, I guess you could say. But now with the rifles out in their hands, you've got to hope that it doesn't get to that point. Shinobi smoked off so far. TenZ tosses at least the paint shell nades, but Wardell catches him on the reverse swing. Shinobi trades one back here, sits tight in U-Haul as he waits for the rest of his team to arrive. The spike is yet to make its way onto the ground here, but now it's TenZ touches base, but they're not going to stick it here just yet. And Mitch is wide swung from CT and has mustered a double out of that play. It's now just on to hazed, and hazed sits full blind by the paranoia. Mitch has got the triple, the hero of the round, and Cloud9 finally find their first round off of these rifles.
Huge now, TSM, they're going to be able to reinvest into the next round, but Cloud9 made that look so clean. Their first successful hold of the half. They need to double those score to catch back up with TSM. That may not be the most tallest of tasks, Sully. I keep mentioning economy, and it is also important in this one. Again, with Cloud9 keeping that one so clean, they ended up getting the spike defuse, so that's even more credits in their bank. And not only that, but we also have only 2 players needing to reinvest on rifles. You do have to catch up on util, leading most of the team to about $2,000. But TSM, they're going to be on the back lines. Most of the team are going to be stuck at around 1,000 apiece. But what is going on with Wardell? Looks like he picks up only the ulti in this one, and he keeps up on 4K. That's the Jett eco. Happens all the time, and I'm glad that we're seeing it again.
Wall up here, Wardell. He's got the up drift. He wants to go over it. It's risky because Relyks is just sitting on over behind it. Both him and Subroza stand here together. The ult orb. This is his moment, and he goes up for the strike. Lands it as well. Wardell finds the first. A well-timed shot as well, as he right-clicks straight to the head of him. Man advantage gained here. The knives are risky, because if you miss that right-click, you've really only got what you came into the round with in terms of what you've bought. So, Wardell hitting that first shot, still holds on to the rest of it. It has now been fully reset. The B site, they're starting to work their way on in. 4 players progress. They're leaving just one. Cutler to lurk back towards A. Try and hold these 3 players in, but as these smokes go down the rotation, they're a little bit late. Mitch, straight through the smoke and through a wall, catches hazed. The spike will go down, and it's all about playing this retake. That pick is massive here, and it gives Cloud9 something to bank off of.
This is huge now. Great post positions for Cloud9. As again, they did have only Mitch on site, really just looking for info, and they knew that they would want a retake type setup. A Wardell from above, still taking down Shinobi. He had the opportune peek, but now here comes Mitch. Takes down Subroza first. He already knows that Wardell is going to be around the corner, either that or over towards long. That's a big smoke, but nobody is behind it. Instead, is going to be the crossfires and the one-way smoke. Don't really know if that was actually a setup, but time is heavily running out. Vice and Mitch both with frags. In comes the defuse from Mitch. You still need the frag from Cutler. A 3K from Cutler on the round. He's gonna go down to the spike anyways, but it just works, ladies and gentlemen. An 11th round for TSM, but Cloud9 getting closer and closer on these retakes.
It's close, but it's not good enough. Close isn't enough to give you a round, Gus, and unfortunately Cloud9, that round isn't enough to keep them up in terms of economy. They're running low. It's lackluster. A Stinger, a Spectre with light armor, and TenZ is just going to barely be able to hold on to a rifle. He's got the Vandal in his hand, and if you ever need a result from TenZ, this is the time. 34 kills in their match against Envy. He's got to replicate that somehow. Vice fakes its TP, but as that recon bolt reveals his position, it's basically nullified by that point in time. Relyks is caught out, though, by Cutler. Tries to throw out the curveball, but a quick response. And Shinobi is the last one here towards Showers. Looking for a trade, walks out, doesn't check the close left corner, and Subroza has been gifted that second free kill. TenZ now. I talked about how he needs to perform here now, and he needs to show up, but he's not even given the slightest of chances as hazed strikes him from behind, leaving just 2 here for Cloud9.
It's a rough scenario. C9, they put so much util into this round, so much economy into this round, as at least at this point, finding exit frags are going to be the best that they could pull off. Still a Vice going to be able to put up a smoke close, and maybe a capitalization from Mitch, but instead he ends up going down, and Wardell with a quick flank catches off Vice, and this is an unfortunate scenario for Cloud9, something that they simply couldn't capitalize off of when they won the 3rd round. It is match point for TSM, and again, this Cloud9 team, they aren't going to be able to buy all the guns that they want.
Money was always going to be a problem in the rounds like this, and rounds like that when you can't muster enough kills, when cheeky plays come out from TSM. It's one round before they meet their chance at revenge against Gen G. One more round to go, and Cloud9 don't have any tools to stop this. They've got the bare minimum. The bones have been scraped off in terms of all their meat, and Drone, an ultimate called out, nearly lands the next here. They've been stuck here. Relyks is forced and sent back as well. Orbital strike comes out. It is a mess down B, and hazed has got to, catches them in the TP and hookah. Mitch though, revive, hazed to line them up, and it is utter chaos as we approach the final stages. A 4K for hazed, one more kill to find, and it's a single bullet for both of them. 1 HP difference, 22 and 23 as hazed picks up the spike. Tuck tail, run back towards the A site, but he's instead double backing the mind games, and they've read into it. At least Relyks has. Sits tight on the B bomb site. One bolt from the Bulldog will give them another chance, but they would need 6 more rounds to bring us to overtime. Hazed is making a ruckus, and surely Relyks by this point in time knows. He's waiting behind Tin. Ken has the box to dance around, and Relyks, he's got this one. The round in the bag, and Cloud9 keep on trugging along.
Oh my, so scared at that point too. Hazed was trying to clear the site to the best of his abilities. Imagine if he tried to clear the corner one more time, but Relyks is still there for the final frag. Oh boy, so much util used in that last round too. All of the ults just being spilled out by both C9 and TSM. Here we go again. TSM getting more and more aggressive in a sense as these rounds go on, so I think at this point, there might be a setup for a default, something that we haven't seen so much for TSM, really at all in the South. They haven't tried to go for picks at all. Leave the spike back in mid. It's a classic setup. But again, looking over towards this round, Sully, it's a 4-man take A.
Yeah, they have left one man. That is Drone, who has convincingly coincidentally used the Owl drone over towards B. Kept those rotations back as they have cleared out now the A site. The last 3 players were both on, or all 3 on B, so now they've got to make this long rotation through CT spawn. And Omen TP though from Vice goes back over towards the back of Showers, but has opted to cancel it as he wants to stick with the rest of his team. All of them have basically backed up towards at least the short side, but Cutler remains over towards U-Haul, trying to play something for his team, trying to give his team a refrag ability here. Drone has got the recon bolt lined up. Cutler's been paranoid, and here the storm comes in Vice. A trade back instantly. It's now just 1 as Vice has got to win out the 1 versus 2. It's Drone and Wardell who he's got to face. Time is not on his side though, and I think we might just have our second grand finalist, and indeed we do. TSM will have their chance at revenge against Gen G in the grand finals of the Gauntlet Invitational.
I mean, what a game. TSM picking apart Cloud9, at least on the attacking side. And at this point, Sully, I think we could just chalk it up. Not anymore.